All right, everyone, we are here for our third episode of our MEDC Lives Chats, and we're sitting down with business owners now. So we're pulling some of our entrepreneurs from the McCook community. We're going to chat one-on-one, and we're going to pick their brain about their business, entrepreneurship, McCook, and anything else that we want to talk about. So what we'll do is we'll start broadcasting this and asking some questions, and we'll pose those questions to our entrepreneurs. We'll set them up, and we'll get your questions answered by the entrepreneurs we sit down with. So we have Jared Muehlenkamp with us, the owner of ACME Touch Printing here in McCook on the bricks.
ACME Printing Company.
ACME Printing Company.
Sorry, it used to be Touch. We don't touch anyone anymore.
For all you that didn't know, ACME Printing Company,
there you go.
Owned by Jared Muehlenkamp, right here on the bricks. Jared, thank you for sharing your time with us. So tell us who you are.
First off, thank you for having me. Appreciate that. You didn't give me the chance to thank you.
Not a problem.
What you're doing is awesome, by the way.
We're trying.
Getting the word out there for all of us business owners and people in the community that really enjoy McCook, and that's awesome that you're doing this and trying to get that social media and that some different avenues that we haven't really done yet. And
yeah,
I think it's great. So.
Well, we're trying our best. All right, so you're not deflecting. Who are you?
Deflecting.
Tell us who you are.
My name is Jared Muehlenkamp. I was born and raised in Southwest Nebraska, Imperial, Nebraska to be exact. Moved here when I was about 9 years old. So I've been here for most of my life, really. Went to college for graphic design.
Where at?
University of Nebraska-Kearney.
Okay.
Go Lopes. And so I cut my teeth in Lincoln and in LA. Worked for a big ad agency out there, and really got to learn some different things in the industry. Some photography, some video stuff. Also, a lot of graphic design and just really working with brands and stuff like that. So I learned a lot of different things, and I wanted to bring them back to McCook and see what I could, make happen here and help small businesses grow, whether it be just a small brand or whatever, even a larger corporation, whatever. I just wanted to bring some of that back to Nebraska. There's not a lot of ad agencies out here. There's not a lot of people doing branding, and not a lot of people understand it really from rural Nebraska. So I was hoping to bring some of that back. And I'm about 3.5 years as a business owner now, and really starting to get the handle on the business side, which has been tough for me because I didn't take business classes in college. I took art and studio art, and I took pottery, those sort of things. And then now I'm sort of running a business that has been in McCook since 1932.
Wow.
So,
wow, I did not.
Learning all of that sort of thing has been a big process for me.
So why did you choose to leave LA and come back? Because you had a good gig in LA. You were working for crazy cool brands, and you could say your name was on some cool things.
Yeah.
Why would you give that up and come here?
So big brands it's really cool, especially in the very beginning of working for a big brand. You get to see this is Gatorade, this is Nissan, this is Pepsi, that's cool, this is awesome. But then you get into the political side of things. So for instance, we were doing a product, which I don't know if I can talk about this, but it was a really big coffee company that everyone knows was coming to TBW Chiat Day asking for a pitch for a new soda-like, basically like a Italian soda.
Okay.
So what happened was Pepsi is a really big client of the ad agency that I worked at. We were doing a pitch for a coffee company, so it wasn't conflict until Pepsi found out that it was Italian soda.
Wow.
So we were 2 months in, a lot of man hours in, and basically all the work that me and Bori Chung, the girl I worked with, was for nothing, because they said, you know what? That is a beverage, a soda beverage, and we don't want you working on that. So they said, if you work on that, you're going to lose basically $1 billion company like that. So that's this. There's a weird part of that too.
2 months of work down the tubes because one company didn't like what you were doing for another.
One really big company didn't like what we're doing for another very big competitor, I guess you could say.
So what was the draw from McCook then? Because that just sounds like a not good environment to work in. Why?
It was a great environment. So it was a great environment, but things, when they get really big, it's all about money, right? It's about money. It's about we're going to throw our weight around here or this or that. It doesn't come down to the creative side. It doesn't come down to like really helping people or like wanting to be a part of something. It's kind of plastic, I guess you could say. So I grew up in a small town where you knew everybody and people have your back and it's a supportive community and all that sort of thing. It's a sort of a comfort level that I really missed when I moved to LA. And people kind of say one thing in LA and they maybe do another. They don't really follow through exactly. Around here, you get, you have a bigger support system. You feel like you can really connect with somebody. Just like me and you, when you came down from the Real Future, it's like I was like, this is a really cool guy.
You flatter me.
And I was like, it's gonna, that really sucks that he's only gonna be here for a little while. And then, lo and behold, you come back. I was like, that's awesome. But you have those connections in a small town that you don't usually have like in a bigger city, unless it's family or something like that. So it's one of those things. I learned a lot, and I got to see really cool things. But on a day-to-day basis, I wanted to have more of a feel of hometown, like good values and strong people and a strong community and people working together instead of like, how much money is this paying me? I have a better job over here. I'm gonna go over it. Like it's just the constant shift and movement and power plays and all this stuff. And it's like around here, it's like it's fairly simple, and you can do what you love, but it doesn't have to be on a grand scale. It's just like for the love of your community. So that's what I really like about McCook.
Well, thank you for giving up your lifestyle to come be a business owner in McCook for the last 3.5 years.
Yeah, and if I was in LA, I wouldn't be able to own a business. I mean, I wouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
It would be very hard to start something there, especially in the design world.
So take us through your entrepreneurial journey. So in 3.5 years, I guess what's been the toughest part, and what's been one of your biggest failures in the last 3.5 years?
Oh, biggest failures. Well, starting out, I went and I met current clients. And it went well. I got to meet people in the community and this and that. But, you're not always going to keep all clients. You're not going to make everyone happy. There's going to be some changes. Although I try to keep the changes to really a bare minimum of, it's just going to be me taking over and I'm going to try to service you the best I can. I want to make changes, but I don't want to change it so much that it changes my whole clientele. So I think the hardest thing for me has been getting to know my clients and figuring out how to service them when I could have easily just did what I wanted to do and forgot the rest and been like, you know what, I'm not doing that anymore. But I think that's also I really tried to not change it up a lot in the first 2 years, at least, before I bought the building.
Yeah.
And then I also kind of look back and I thought to myself, I wish I would have tried to change a little more in the beginning, because people
So why?
see that. Because the previous owner, she was older. She hadn't really updated a lot of things in a long time, and in the printing market and design things, a lot of different things. It's hard to, you can't stay the same and still grow with the way you're doing stuff. So if I would have just kind of said, this is what I'm doing and I'm gonna do it really, really to the best I can, I would have lost a lot of clients, and I probably would have scared myself in the whole business side of things. But it would also be easier for me to grow. I think a good example is Ben Blakey in Hen Hat.
His name comes up quite a bit. And when I find myself talking, Ben Blakey, for those who don't know, he runs Hen Hat.
Awesome dude.
He's one of those entrepreneurial guys, and I'm sure he's been a mentor for you.
Oh yeah, we talk, and it's sometimes he'll come in for he just has one thing to pick up, and then it'll end up an hour and a half later, like he's finally like, I have another meeting. We need to pick this up another time.
Yeah.
But he's got a vision for what needs to happen, and I think he was on the other side of what I'm talking about. He changed a lot of things, and he lost a lot of employees by changing that. And I did sort of the opposite. I tried not to change much. I tried to do it just incrementally as possible, so it didn't get a lot of that turnover. And I love the people that work with me at ACME. Dang it. But I love the people that work with me at ACME, and I wouldn't change that. I'm really glad that they stuck with me, and they're part of it. But there's some things that we do that I wish I would have changed first off. And there's things that I'm glad I didn't change, and hindsight's 20/20, right? And I think Ben's kind of the same way. There's things that he would have done differently coming in. But there's no real mentor to tell you how to take over a business and run it a successful way for 10 years from now. I don't think there's anyone out there that's like, okay, this is what you exactly need to do, and you got to kind of figure those things out. And with me, maybe it was a little harder because I wasn't really a business guy. I was more on the visual communication side, and I knew that side, and I knew I needed to update that, but I didn't know how to update the business side of it. And advertising for your own business and marketing to a market that you really don't know that much about, I never really took marketing classes. I was designing for those marketing people, so that's,
You had to
people,
learn it all.
right, and so what a lot of people are like, well, you're a designer, you should know marketing. It's like, some people are designers that, maybe had a minor in marketing that, that's great. I mean, that's a perfect for a small business. Like, if you have that person, and a couple people come to mind for me, Shelly Siegfried, she's great. She might be one that you can talk to as well about,
For sure.
Marketing and advertising and stuff like that. I worked for advertising agency, but I worked for the visual side, so they had people that did, here's your marketing, there's a copyright person, there's really niche jobs within that. So I've had to learn a lot of different things within a business, besides just profit loss and, running an account. Right, the nitty gritty stuff that, it's that stuff doesn't interest me necessarily. I want to pay my employees and keep my bottom line and all those other buzzwords you hear. But, at the end of the day, I want to make something that I'm proud of. And so taking a business and, shifting it to something that's kind of different, like I had a whole new branding for ACME. I wanted to keep the retro look of it without scaring people away. I didn't want to modernize it, and then I was like, what is this? I took the touch away, so, that was a big step.
Well, you tripped me up.
And I'll tell you a little story about ACME touch printing and how that name. So originally it is ACME Printing Company, started by Russell Southard. Well, it was actually before that. So Lester Walker was the guy's name that had some machinery, had a letterpress, had some other. I have the original bill of sale sitting in my lobby.
Cool.
If you ever want to see that,
we should take a picture and throw it up.
we'll take a picture. We'll throw it up there. I'll scan all of the things. You can. I have the letterpress, the original letterpress. I have the original typecase that has all the letters in it. I can snap a picture of that and show.
So it's all like antique.
So it's antique, yeah. People walk in, they're like, "Oh, look at all this antique. Are you an antique store?" No, we're not an antique store. We just have antique printing presses.
So why do you keep it?
Because it tells a story of the company. I mean, of the brand. I mean, it's a part of the branding. We're not just another big printing company that has a warehouse of printers and just does the commodity of printing. We're here for the community. We've been here for the community since 1932. We want to grow that part of it. I don't want to be one of those really big printers. There's enough of those guys out there. I want to be someone that you can come to and say, "Hey, I need a logo, or I need a flyer made up, or I need this, or what about a website?" You know, like, I'm here to help those businesses grow and hopefully succeed, so we can have a better community here in McCook. I'm not interested in making a ton of money and sort of selling out and like, okay, I'm gonna buy the cheapest paper. I'm gonna buy the cheapest inks. They may suck, and my employees may hate working with this paper and this ink because it doesn't react like the good inks do, or the good paper does, and make their lives miserable just to save a few extra bucks. I want them to have a good experience working and know that I have their backs. So then they want to come to work, and I want to be there, and they want to be there, and then I feel like that's grows from there. It's like, oh, right, it's a ripple effect, and then they're like, oh, yeah, I really like working there, and then hopefully that grows, and then they're like, you should get your printing here because I really like working there, you know, and because I'm not going to compete with online printing companies, or I'm not going to compete with Fiverr and all that other thing that, you know, it's right. Yeah, it's just not. A, it's not what I want to do, and B, it's just not feasible for me to do that. I can build a relationship with a person around here, and we can have a strong connection, and I can help them, and they can help me. You know, like, that's the relationship. And the community is why I moved back, and that's why, like, being ACME Printing Company has been a great thing for me, you know, to grow with, even though it's been here for a long time. Like, with technology and everything else, it's been hard for small print shops to grow, and I think it's kind of interesting to see how different companies evolve from, you know, the online boom and things like that. So there's things that we can do. It's just you have to be willing to change.
Yeah.
You know.
So talk to me about McCook. Why do you enjoy McCook? You know, it's one thing to get into business, and transitioning a business is way different than starting a business. But you've been in it for 3 years, and that in itself takes dedication through the first year. But now you're here, you know, 3.5 years, and hopefully a lot more to go. What is it about the community that keeps you going? Obviously, the work has to be good, and you enjoy what you do. What about the greater community? When you clock out of work, or, you know, you have time to yourself, what drives you wanting to be here?
One thing, big thing, is my wife loves being a cook.
Shout out
to Sadie Muehlenkamp now. I almost called her Besmer, you know. It's hard getting used to that. But she didn't want to live in LA, you know, and that became very apparent. And so I know that she wants to be here, and I want to be here. And I know her family wants us to be, you know, not be in LA because it's such a long ways away. I mean, I think a huge part is family, the family ties. But then, really the big part of being like a strong part of McCook is you can create something in small areas, and we were just talking about the breweries of rural Nebraska. Those have come to be such a strong driver of tourism and economic building in these smaller communities, that you can do that with not only beer, but you can do that with any sort of industry that you really want to do. You got to find it and figure out like how you want to do it, but you can build your brand and you can make things. You can be an influence in your community if you want to. When I was in LA, I didn't feel like I was, ever had that sense of, I had a sense I was working for a big company and like that was cool. But at the end of the day, I wanted to create something that was like mine and was fun and cool, and fun comes up a lot for me because it's like I don't want to go to work and be like, oh man, I gotta do this memo or this TPS report. Shout out to Office Space. But you know what I mean? It's, like I wanted to go to work and be like, I'm gonna be able to be creative today. I'm gonna be able to make an influence in my community today. I'm gonna be able to drive my own passions and put them out there. And not everything works, but at the same time, not, like I feel like you're more successful at doing some of those things in rural communities, and you have a support system that can help you make some of those things happen. Yeah. That I'd just be another person in LA that's a designer. There's tons of designers in LA. There's tons of people making things in LA. So bringing some of that sort of ideals back and like, okay, let's create something and make it happen. Mm-hmm. You can do that here. And then, like, there's someone like out there wanting to like make something, come talk to me. Yeah. There's so many people that I've talked to that help me, realize that I'm not the only one, making ACME Printing Company work. It's the whole community that helps, and then hopefully there's more people that come back and want to do that too. Like, I know there's 5 or 6 people that I could name basically right now that want to move back to, small town. So there's opportunities that they don't know who to contact necessarily, but if you get in this, if you can, just, hey, I know Andrew Ambrose, he's going to help, find something that might work for your business or something that you want to create.
And that's what we're here for.
Right.
So we're coming up on, I think, about a half hour. And, I don't want to keep everybody's time, but I have one more question.
Okay.
But before I get to that question, I want to acknowledge you, because you took the leap. You and your wife, you and Sadie, decided, let's take a chance on the cook. And it's really paid off, not only for you, but for everyone that gets to utilize ACME Printing Company as a way to develop their business and their brand. So you're not out there and trying to sell to people. Really what you're doing is generative, where you're helping other people so that they can make their mark on the community. So really what you're doing is not really glamorous. It really isn't.
No, I wouldn't say that.
So thank you for what you've invested in the community, because it doesn't just start and stop with the business that you run, but you show up in other parts of the community and you participate, and that's something that not a whole lot of communities get. People are invested, and it goes all the way up and down the bricks. It goes to all of our retailers and business owners throughout the community. So thank you for being a part of that ecosystem and that environment, and making McCook a better place to be and being an advocate for us. So the last question, and this is one I tore out of somebody else's playbook, but imagine right now what you're about to say is going to be broadcast to everyone in the world. Everyone in the world can hear what you're about to say. So it's going to be translated into all these different languages, and everyone is going to have these headphones that let them hear exactly what you're about to say. And this can be about anything, what you believe to be true, what you want other people to know about who you are, where you live, what you do. If you had 30 seconds, what would you say into that microphone to everybody?
30 seconds, oh man, I guess what I would say is don't be afraid to do something. Just do it. If it works out, it will. But failing is a big part of like business or even even with graphic design. I was used to be, the person that I gotta do this perfect, I gotta do it perfect. But if you just do it, that's the biggest thing to get past is the doing part, and then everything will fall in place. Like I had so many nights where I was like, should I buy this company or but I just did it, and so if you just do it, things will happen for you. I guarantee it.
Awesome. Thank you, Jared.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for joining us. We appreciate it. All right, and all you people out there, share your comments. We'll have Jared back on the show. We'll start to cycle through some more entrepreneurs. So thank you for your time. Thank you for tuning into the MEDC Live Chat, episode 3 with business owner Jared Muehlenkamp of ACME Printing Company.
There we go.
Yes. Thanks, Jared.
Thank you.